Okay, hello, Yaz. Please tell people out there about your movie, My Home Unknown.
Hi, David. So nice to meet you. Yes. So, My Home Unknown is a raw and authentic look on a story about a woman that is battling through a mental health crisis while she's experiencing homelessness, the life on the street, and the courage that it takes to accept help. And in the end, it's a hopeful message of finding your way home within yourself first.
Yes. And why did you want to make this movie?
So there was many different reasons that came together how My Home Unknown was created. First of all, I had the idea for this character of Mina, who is the main character in the story. A while back, it came through me in my sleep. That's usually how I get my inspiration, my creative ideas is through sleep or meditation. And then the second thing is like the immediate reflection as a writer of this of the world that I live in. And we were in the middle of the pandemic where everything was shut down. And I live in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, the homelessness crisis started to rise. Tents were going up everywhere. People were sleeping on the streets, on the corner. I had people right at the corner of my house in front of my yard sleeping, rotating all the time. So that came in that theme of like, wow, people are like losing their homes. People are on the streets and experiencing homelessness. And then the message of mental health is something that I'm really passionate about, and I think it's very relatable to all of us in certain degrees. And so bringing all of that together and being a filmmaker in the middle of the pandemic where everything was shut down, the film industry was shut down. Remember, nobody knew how long this was going to last, and I was like, I don't want to sit around and wait. I want to create something. I want to do something. So all of this came together and became My Home Unknown and Nina's story.
Yes. Okay. And so now that the project's done, there's a
Yes.
screener. I've seen it. It's official. Do you have a statement or statements on homelessness that you believe the movie touches on that you could expand on?
Sure. I mean, I take the role of the filmmaker and I let the work speak for itself, but I think the message in general and overall for this movie is to humanize and to destigmatize mental illness and homelessness, people that are going through that experience, um, and bringing us together in the remembrance of we're all human beings. We all have a soul that is right behind those eyes. And rather than just looking at the outside shell and judging that, remembering that this person has a name. This person breathes air just the way that I do. This person has to eat and sleep. We're all someone's daughter or someone's son, someone's sibling, someone's friend. And remembering that it's a soul that is struggling through something. So it is really to evoke compassion, making us remember that we're all one human race. And you never know what someone is going through. That's the mental health aspect of, it's, I mean, so many, especially after the pandemic, I think can relate to various degrees of mental health um, struggles or challenges. So you never know what someone's going through.
All right. And what reactions have you gotten from this film? Tell me about the range of comments you've gotten.
Oh yeah, I mean, the great thing is once we finished the film last year in 2023, it was really important for me to go to the festivals because we're missing out on this like in-person experience where everybody's together in this dark room and this gigantic screen and everybody's laughing and crying and gasping at the same time. So we did that. We had an incredible premiere at the Dances with Films Festival in at the legendary Chinese Theater in Hollywood. I mean, it was so cool. It was packed, sold out, and we had this room, and we had so many reactions that were really, really heartfelt and warming. And everybody was coming to us after that festival, and we did many more festivals. We also did educational screenings with. We have a grassroots campaign attached to this, where we're collaborating with nonprofit organizations that work in the field of mental health and in the field of homelessness. And we have screenings at universities. We had one at USC in Los Angeles where we're showing the film. And then we're having a leadership discussion panel about these topics, and students and people can ask questions, and the organizations will speak about how you can help. And through all of these screenings, which were incredible, we had really, really beautiful reactions of people, A, really understanding like the compassionate part of what I was talking about, that it changed their perspective on, oh my gosh, I always see people on the street or on the corner, or when I walk to school, or when I walk to work, or when I'm in the subway, and all of these things, and I just never know what to do. And and creating that barrier of like, oh gosh, like look away, or ignore it, or people just don't know what to do. And watching this movie, the reactions were like, wow, I really feel like I understand now that this is someone's life, and this is a person. This is not just something that's over there that's making me really uncomfortable. So that was a really big reaction, that compassion of like, you don't have to look away. You can actually look, because when you don't look away, it creates compassion. And then, conversations can start. Or, you can also have things of like, where can I help, or in what capacity can I be part of the change? It's not, it looks different for everyone, right? For someone, it's like, I just want to donate some money to this organization, let them deal with it. For other people, it's like, oh, I want to volunteer, I want to work, I want to help. Or for someone else, it's like, I actually want to work in the community with the people that are going through this experience and be one-on-one. It's so different for everyone. But I think overall the reactions were that something opened up their hearts, or they would change their perception of, okay, like I feel this compassion now, and I wanna understand how I can be part of the change. Which, that's ultimately the goal. I mean, that's amazing. That's all you can ask for as a filmmaker.
Of course. And I hear everything you're saying crystal clear. But if
Mm.
someone, let's say, sees a trailer or
Yeah.
decides to stop watching because they say, "Oh, this hits a little too close to home for me," what what would you say to them?
And this is absolutely totally okay, and it's understandable, because this film it's a very intense and raw look
Mm.
on what a person can go through, and it can trigger a lot of things, because like I said, especially in the mental health realm, right? Because we all have different experiences with mental health, or are one person away from someone that is going through a mental health struggle. So it can hit home on many, because there's also in the film, there's so many different layers, especially for females, right? I mean, there's also substance abuse is addressed in this, which that I think is very relatable to a lot of people. Then for females, there's also sexual abuse is being touched on, and so many things. And then also the question of faith, and what do I believe in, and if my family believes in one thing, how can I separate myself if I don't believe in that thing? And then also even just the theme of grief, like deep grief of losing someone, and how to deal with that, right? It can trigger so many things. So if you are watching and you can't get through it, what I would recommend is go talk to someone that you trust, someone that you can open up to, and start the conversation. Because whatever you just saw is enough that moved something inside of you, that is a start of healing, or a start of opening up to maybe a different perception, something you can talk about with a friend, with a sibling, or there's also obviously professional help out there that you can talk to. So that's already enough of the film doing its thing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Did you
Yeah.
personally have rough days while making this film?
Oh my goodness. I think every film is in like a miracle if it gets done, first of all. And then with this film, yes, absolutely. I mean, it was an incredible journey, and a very challenging journey, because like I said, we were filming in the middle of the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, where everything was shut down, masks, like people wouldn't even go out. So that, first of all, was very challenging in the production of getting a film done, and the cast, and we had to be very careful of not having too many people together. We had to test all the time, the COVID testing. So that was challenging. Then, because also the film is spoiler alert, but you really are part of Mina's journey as the audience. You go through every single location, and she's kind of like a nomad, right? She goes through so many different areas and locations, and areas in the film, and you go with her the whole entire time. So we were filming I mean, we were on our feet filming sometimes 6 locations a day because we would just travel like a crew with Mina through all these different things. So that was really challenging too. And then because it was the pandemic and we were going into areas where, they were really occupied by unhoused people and in these areas that were industrial and more urban. So we would show up sometimes and the location looked completely different than it looked the day before because people had, left things there, or all of a sudden there was lots of people there and then we couldn't shoot there. So it was like you always had to be on your toes to kind of like go with the flow and say, okay, and me as the writer, then I had to rewrite scenes on the fly all the time. And we were also, like I said, going into areas that were a little rough. So we had some moments where we had to actually pack up and leave because
Wow.
police came and we were being alerted that this area is not safe to be filming in and stuff like that. So, but all of that was really important to me as a filmmaker because I wanted it to feel authentic, and I didn't want to sugarcoat it, and I wanted the audience to really be able to experience it, what it could be like to 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 live that life. And again, it's all to create that, oh my gosh, wow, like I never even thought about that in that depth of like how hard it is, and me as an actor then, as portraying Mina, I was, I was in clothes that weren't proper clothes, and I was wearing shoes that didn't have a proper sole. So I was basically walking almost like on my socks, and I would do that for 14 hours a day,
Wow.
over and over and over. So just the agony and pain that I was in as well coming home. And granted, I still got home after a 14-hour, 15-hour day and I slept in the bed, right? So it's like just all of those things were the layers that made it very challenging. But I think then on the screen really translate as very authentic.
All right. Well, yes, thanks so much for your time. Do you have a final thought about My Home Unknown you'd like to finish this interview with?
Sure. I'm so grateful, first of all, for having me here and letting me talk about it. Thank you so much. And I'm super excited for everyone to be able to see this movie now in their home, on screen, and hopefully have an experience that will change something inside of them and open their heart to more compassion, and maybe also start conversations within their own community, within their own family and their friends and all of that. So bringing us all closer together as one human race.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.